Thank you, Mr. Sorabjee. I have to say that when you invited us to come and invest in India, that reminds me what happened when one Israeli venture capitalist came to meet me half a year ago, and he said that they had decided to invest in China, and then he had a discussion with Chinese hosts, and they asked him, how come have you selected China to be your partner? And this Israeli said that he had some time to consider, and he came to the conclusion which he gave out. I think together we are strong. Together with China we are strong. And this Chinese host considered for a while and replied by saying, yes, together we are strong. I suppose that in a couple of months the number of our population is growing as much as the total population of Israel. I don't know how many weeks we need to get the same population growth than the whole population of Finland, but I suppose it will not take several weeks. But that is... Yes, please, if you... Yeah, please move back to the podium. So this is not the crucial thing. I think the crucial thing is that Finland and India, in spite of the differences, have a lot of common, and this common ground is what we are now considering. Now we have listened to one element of that, and are there questions or comments? We have a couple of minutes for that kind of discussion. Who is taking the floor? I have to ask you, Mr. Law in Finland to make a comment or a question, please.
I would say, like the old Vikings in history said that he is truly wise who traveled much, he knows the winds, he knows the ways. Mr. Soli Sorabjee has traveled much, he's been in many contacts and seen so much the rule of law development in the world, and I would say that we appreciate very much the legal development in India. It's somehow very interesting, a huge big country with common law traditions and also constitution, which is very essential in legal culture in India. I will make maybe only one question. Does ordinary people use constitution very often in their disputes, and they trust to constitution to be fulfillment in the legal cases?
Yes, because of public interest litigation and relaxation of the rule of locus standi, these are the common people. Children in factories, inmates of so-called asylums and care homes, people working in stone quarries in insanitary conditions, prisoners whose rights are violated. People forget prisoners once they are behind jail, but even then, if their rights are violated, and these are the people who can come to the Supreme Court thanks to the public interest litigation and the liberalization of the rule of locus standi. They will come through an NGO, which of course must be acting bona fide, which must have some credentials, not something which has just come for political interest or publicity interest, and these people have received a lot of benefit, especially the children. So many children, you'll be surprised, making bangles, other occupations, matchsticks, very bad for the health. What happens to them? But for this, nothing. The rights would have been violated with impunity. All of these have secured benefit. Of course, there are so many more who do that, but this is the avenue. And this avenue can be expanded, and if it is within judicially manageable standards.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? We have some participants of the seminar who are following this seminar online, internet, and one of them has asked about the challenges of the fundamental rights in the future? What are the, according to our speaker, what are the main challenges of the fundamental rights in the nearest future, let's say next decade?
Main challenges are if legislation is discriminatory, if it denies equality to a certain class of section of people on the basis of the religion or caste, it would not take more than 10 minutes for the court to strike it down. Then there are also onslaughts on the press. Arun Shourie knows how the government tried to restrict the press or put restrictions. Not directly. Government is very clever. We used to import newsprint. I think newsprint came much from Finland at one stage. And they increased the customs duty in such a way that the newspapers couldn't run. So the court saw through it. They said, yes, normally we don't interfere in matters of taxation. But this is directed against the press. The whole idea of this increase is to see that the press cannot function in a viable manner. And the other one, of course, very often, is the taking away of someone's property or taking action without any authority of law. In other words, the police commissioner cannot say, stop that play. The police commissioner cannot say, I don't like the movie, ban the movie. First question the court will ask, under what law have you acted? Second question will be, did you hear the man? Were the principles of natural justice observed? These things happen very often because at the lower level, these authorities are still not sensitive to what fundamental rights are and what the principles of natural justice require. Take a passport. You impound the man's passport. Court say, hey, take it easy. On what grounds? On what grounds? He hasn't paid taxes. That's not a ground. See the Act. Act only gives certain grounds on which you can do it. If he's convicted, if he's likely to flee the country to avoid the process of justice. So these are the matters which common people go to the court and get benefit. And let me tell you, in these matters, most of the senior lawyers who otherwise charge a very heavy fee. But in these matters of public interest litigation, most of the senior lawyers have appeared amicus pro bono without charging a fine.
All right, thank you once again, Mr. Sorabjee.
I think there's a hand there.
All right, let's take one question because we have to move on. We have panel coming and we can continue discussion.
One of the comparisons made between India and China by many companies is, we want a piece of land in China to set up a factory. It's very easy. They kick off somebody and say, this is your land, set up a factory. Could you describe for the audience the situation in India, particularly in light of the special economic zone problems, why it is so difficult for somebody to be evicted from the land for industrial use?
Because if he is protected by the law, you may change the law. But naturally today the tendency of the lawmakers is to protect the farmer, the tiller, the tenant. So that's the reason the courts have to apply the law. Courts can't say we think this law is not good, this law is archaic. They go to apply the law and measure it against some constitutional safeguard. If the law is arbitrary, as you say, you take someone's land for a better purpose, you want to give it to someone, the court says nothing of the kind. You cannot appropriate a man's property unless it's for a genuine public purpose. So these are the things which happen, and mind you, very often it's the implementation of the law which creates problems. In India, Mr. President, we can go in the Guinness Book of Records for the laws we have made, especially in the labor field. Tremendous laws, excellent laws. We'll equally go in the Guinness Book of Records for non-implementation of these laws. And that's where the Supreme Court comes in and tells the executive, I'm not making law. These are the laws made by Parliament and legislatures. Implement these laws. Enforce these laws. Well.
All right. Thank you so much. I noticed that there are some participants who wanted to put questions. Please keep these questions in your mind so that when panel is going to be started, we can continue this discussion. And now we will move on, and the next speaker is going to be Mr. Satyan Pitroda, Chairman of the National Knowledge Commission, and his title is ICT and Knowledge Revolution in India. Mr. Pitroda has a long career. He has been founder and CEO of CSAM Incorporation, and he serves as the director of the board of Jet Airways, which is very well known. We all who have visited India know very well this company. And he has served as an advisor to the United Nations. Mr. Pitroda has lived mainly in Chicago, Illinois since 1964. In 1987 he became advisor to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi and was responsible for shaping India's foreign and domestic telecommunication policies, which is something which is of the major interest here in Finland, and that's why we are very pleased to listen to you, Mr. Pitroda. The floor is yours.